Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love having entrepreneurs come on and share their story. In this case, we're talking about the Roo App. We are joined by their CEO and co-founder, Ellis Hubbard III. Ellis, how are you doing?
I'm really good. And I'm grateful and thankful I got this opportunity to be with you today, Jeremy. So thank you.
Well, let's dive into the Roo app. Before we talk all about the app, though, give us a little bit of your story, because on your end, moving to Nashville from Houston, give us a little bit of your story as an entrepreneur.
Okay, wow. So from a professional standpoint, I've been in so many different roles, management related, sales, all kinds of stuff. Been an insurance adjuster for 10 years, all throughout corporate America for about 25 years. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and still have a house there, but I do live in Nashville, been here almost 2 years. Transferred up here 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. My wife got a promotion on her job, which was great. And so follow her. I thought I did the right thing, which was to follow her up here so we can stay married. But the entrepreneurial journey that I took has been in so many different phases. I've always known that working for someone else was a challenge for me, not because I couldn't do it, because obviously I did it, but there was something in me that said, I'm a fixer, I'm a solutions provider. And with any job, at some point in time when you can't fix that problem because it's above you or above your pay grade, you kind of get to a point, it's like, maybe it's time for me to move on. So throughout my career, I've had those opportunities here and there. I've been in real estate. I was a real estate investor for a little while. I've had tax franchise and stuff, trying to find really what it is that made me tick. 2016, there was a surge of drunk driving accidents and DUI related accidents in the city of Houston. Houston is, if not number one of the top cities, unfortunately, when it comes to DUIs and drunk driving. And I guess I got tired of seeing that. I have kids, all of them are grown now, and I've got actually 2 grandkids. But back then, they were still in high school and college, and they were driving and they were hanging out with their friends and stuff. And so my worry just increased, and started doing some research on the different things that the municipalities and the government organizations were trying to do to bring that statistic down. And basically it was just a bunch of PAs, and it was PSAs rather, and a bunch of talk about the situation, but a lot of data, but no real world change. Did some research. There was a guy out of Phoenix, Arizona. He was retired, had a favorite bar that he would go to, and he noticed something similar happen, and people would just drink a little bit too much, whether they were partying or came as after work, had a rough day, and they really shouldn't have gotten behind the wheel, but the bar owner couldn't stop them. And so they were driving home intoxicated. And just like my fear, he had the same concern, but he took action. He started driving people home in their car and just taking the taxi to go back. And so the bar owner recognized that and said, hey man, I'll pay for your time. That turned into probably about, I think he'd said a month after he started, about $21,000 worth of business that he was generating from just driving people home almost every single week. And I said, man, that's a great idea. Just drive someone home. So I went through a bunch of pitch competitions in 2019 back in Houston, trying to get, I had the business plan. I had this idea to go out and hire some people part-time, put this all together and make it just jump off and save a bunch of lives. And the pandemic hit in the midst of this and shut everything down. And then of course I got moved up here. And then last fall, some of those investors that originally told me they were, really interested back in Houston, they said, hey, Ellis, let's do this. And so I started trying to do stuff with them. And I ran across here in Nashville my new business partners, a company called WEC Nashville, Williams Entertainment Consultant. They are a very, very important and experienced consulting company in the beer, alcohol, restaurant, entertainment space here. So they got all these great connections. I literally pitched them over an email and they said yes. And so we formed this partnership and we launched it. The app is in development. We will fully be ready to go by October of this year. All the time, all at the right time to where people want to really go party. And we're going to save a bunch of lives. So.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's important just to kind of hear that backstory that leads into this, obviously. And so talk about how the Roo app will work.
Basically, we're a platform for designated drivers to connect with those who want designated driver services. Now, I can't get into, kind of really specific type of things. I'm not going to sit up here and say we got a whole bunch of proprietary stuff going on, but I want to save a little bit for we're going to do when we do start launching this thing. I think people are going to really be excited about what we're doing and how we're partnering with bars and restaurants specifically to help customers make sure we get them home safe, and then they can go back and be with their families and party again the next weekend or the next day. That's our biggest mission. I can say this: we will get people home in their own car for the same price of them taking an Uber and then leaving their car at the lot. But the difference is their car comes home free with us.
And I think, two things. One is, in an era of technology like we're talking about, there really should be no excuse for, if you're out drinking, to get in a car and face, like you're saying, a DUI, an accident, the worst possible scenario, killing someone, killing yourself, your loved one. So in an era of technology, we should not have or allow that to happen. Two is, to your point, partnering with the bars and being proactive. So it's on both levels, as the individuals, but also as the bars, looking out for their customers and taking a proactive approach. And then that third leg, like you're saying, is getting their vehicle home too. So it's not just them, going back on their end, it's also getting their vehicle back home too. So that in the end, really on every level, you're taking care of everyone and taking care of our community and keeping our community safe. I think that's, to me, a really important lens to step back and look at this through. What's kind of your vantage point on just those pieces of the equation for what this means for the larger community?
You hit the nail on the head. So one good thing about technology, like you mentioned, and with the availability of all this technology, is we already have the data that says this problem is not going away, and the things that are put in place right now are not working. That data exists all day long. I mentioned a few minutes ago, governments and municipalities keep throwing millions and millions of dollars into programs that basically just tell people, don't do this. And they just say it. It's almost like, this is a good idea, y'all, if y'all could do it. But what we know about technology and about blending technology with just common sense, you think about with, like I mentioned, Uber or some of these other rideshare type of apps, it's just connecting people. So all we're doing is connecting people to make sure people get home safe. And I know that people drive to the restaurant. They drive to the bar. Parking lots are full every single weekend of bars and restaurants. So Uber and Lyft, so you taking an Uber or me taking a ride there and leaving my car at home is not a thing that has kept people from using their cars. And then the other thing, with most of our communities outside of places like New York City or some huge metro where everything is so close, where they have subway systems, people need cars. So my thing is, let's help people out where they are. They're already used to rideshare as a thing. So let's flip that script a little bit and then make sure they get home safe.
Yeah.
And they don't have to worry about their car sitting in that parking lot, potentially getting towed because, yes, they made the right decision, but now it's costing them, crazy amounts of money.
So we're looking at a fall release date for the Roo app. What are some of your main goals in terms of growth, different cities? What are some of your priorities and goals?
We're going to launch in Nashville and Houston simultaneously. Nashville, because this is a really huge entertainment mecca, and I just think that we need to address what's going on here. Houston, because it tops the list when it comes to DUIs. Unfortunately, I saw something popped over a newsreel a few days ago. Another teenager was killed in a drunk driving incident in Houston, and that's just the stuff the ones that make the news. And so we're going to grow organically. And I know that's a phrase that's thrown around a lot, but we're going to grow organically, meaning we're going to go to those communities that we know have a high incident of DUIs. We're going to work with the police departments. We're going to work with the mayors. We're going to work with the city council. And we're going to attack this in that vein so that everybody jumps on board and says, hey, look, this is a good option for you. No longer are we just talking to you about what you could do. We're giving you the way to do it. And we're going to make it safe, and we're going to make it inexpensive, and we're going to keep you and your frame of mind happy, and I guess the best way to say it is just reassured that someone's there is going to make sure that they're getting you there where you need to be. So
yeah. For you as an entrepreneur, I know that obviously investment is a key critical ingredient for every entrepreneur. It's like, trying to raise the capital and the funding. So I want you to talk about that as an opportunity, but what are some of the major challenges that you've had to undertake with either the software development, the technology, the fundraising? Like what's been some of the big challenges on your end that you've already been able to tackle?
The biggest thing is just finding the investors who are willing to invest in the seed round, the early stages of this to get it off the ground. Myself and my partners, I think we've done a pretty good job of getting out into the communities, to find those investors. I mean, obviously, we're still open to investment. I mean, certainly, hopefully you're going to share my information with everyone. They can reach out to me if they have an interest. I can't speak to that over this way, but you certainly can contact me. But the challenge has just been everyone, I'll say it like this, everyone that I talk to tells me it's a wonderful idea. It's needed. It's the perfect solution. Where people hesitate is where people normally hesitate when it comes to investing in early stage companies. We don't have any revenue yet. We haven't launched yet. And so they're waiting on it to work, and that's fine. We'll get the folks who will invest early and make sure that we do launch. Now, what's going to happen is that this is something it's not necessarily top of mind, but it will be immediately become top of mind to the public. And so our challenge is going to be how to make sure we have those drivers ready to go, trained, in the system, vetted, all that type of stuff, insurance, all that stuff in the system, and make it really readily accessible in the app. And we have the right developer, we have the right team in place. And so those things are going to happen. And the sooner we get over those small hurdles, the more the public will, hey, if you drink a brew, call the Roo.
There you go. Nice. You already have the marketing lingo down. Well, and like anything, there is a certain runway that you have to, just take off on. And so you've got to do all the prep work and lay all the pieces in place and do all of that. Like you said, the training, not just the coding and all that kind of stuff, everything has to be ready for that launch. And so there's just a lot of prep work that goes in that the public sometimes doesn't understand. Give us a little bit for you as an entrepreneur, what's been a major lesson that you've learned already through this process? So what advice would you give for other entrepreneurs?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest advice I can give other entrepreneurs, and I'll give you my social media because I do post a lot of videos that talk about these types of things. is just never quit. Just don't. I mean, I've been working on this since 2016. I talk to everybody. I talk to anybody. I talk to whoever will listen. You just, as an entrepreneur, you have to believe in your dream. I mean, I was telling someone the other day, don't be afraid to daydream about it. Because as you're going through your work, you're paying your bills or whatever, but don't be afraid to have it top of your mind so that when the opportunity comes, like I have with you guys, I'm ready to speak to it. And you have to speak it into existence because it's the only way that you'll take the action steps that's needed to make it a reality. I was talking to some of my kids the other day, and I'm like, whatever you want in life, you're going to have if you do the work. And I don't mean hard work. I don't mean this. I mean, just, what to do. Folks know what to do to make their dream true. You just have to carve it into your time, carve it into your schedule, and work on it. And don't be afraid that it may take you a little bit longer than what, you initially anticipate. It's okay. Just don't ever stop. Just don't.
Yeah, absolutely. So wrap up with contact information. So obviously, where can we go to follow the progress, to be in the know for the Roo app? And obviously, like you said, too, for those who say, hey, I would love to learn more about an investment opportunity, where do we go to follow you and your efforts?
So the quickest way to get to me, especially those who are looking for more information about potentially investing, my email is Ellis, ELLIS, at the Roo app. Then Roo is ROO.com. So Ellis at the rooapp.com. I am on all the social medias, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm really big on LinkedIn. I'm easily searchable. It's Ellis Hubbard III. On Instagram, you can follow me at EH3XDOPE. So EH3X dope. So 3 times dope. So you just find me. I follow people if they follow me. I do all that kind of stuff, and I enjoy it because there's going to be a bunch of stuff that we're going to start dropping. Our PR team is ready to go. You'll definitely see a lot more probably next month and going forward. But we're ready to blow this out of the water and really change the landscape of that statistic, that DWI and DUI statistic. We're going to change it, and we're going to bring a lot of people home safe.
Yeah, I love it. Love what you're doing. Well, definitely we'll have you come back on once everything is active and live, but greatly appreciate it. Looking forward to it. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you.